Okay, so today, I think we tried to go as much as we can last time in regards to uh, morality, ethics, and patience. And within that patience, I think we defined patience as a meditation. And so, yeah, through the practice of patience and development of all of the um, perfections becomes extremely clear in that sense. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, with the motivation that by practicing in perfecting the 10 perfections or the 6 perfections, the intent is always in Dharma. The intent is always in the 3 scopes. The Bodhisattva scope being the higher scope, and within the higher, the Mahayana scope, and then of course within that development of the 3 principal aspects of the path, and through that um, we attain enlightenment for not for ourselves but for the benefit of all sentient beings. So with that motivation in mind, and that being the perfect method to develop great joy and great happiness within ourselves as well while practicing. So with that motivation, today we start what is it about Soba Tsundu. Tsundu is a joyful effort. The word joyful is there. Actually, Tsundu is actually what we say um, uh, like more like strong effort. But then the joyful is always there when it's coming to the bodhisattva path. So anyway, joyful effort and something meditation. Meditation or single pointed uh, what we say single pointed concentration. So yeah, so today we'll go through that, and that also in order to develop the bodhicitta, and we'll discuss, I think, in the same manner as we did last time. And everyone can hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So that also same as last time, to benefit what we say, not to be, same as last time in the aspect of different category or different category of practice. Yeah. So with that, Sange Chodang Soki Sonam La Chanjo Pada Dane Gyapson Chen Dagi Soki Sonam Ye Dola Benja Sange Du Ba Sho Sange Chodang Soki Sonam Chanjo Pada Dane Gyapson Che Dagi Soki Sonam Ye Dola Benja Sange Du Ba Sho Sange Chodang Soki Sonam La Chanjo Pada Dane Dagi Soki Sonam Ye Dola Benja Sange Du Ba Sho. Okay. So joyful effort, I think, today. Um, Joyful effort has to come something generally something has to come through enthusiastic means. So of course before joyful effort, always good to have what is a conviction, because through conviction then the effort is um, uh, the enthusiasm within the effort becomes much more reliable. So uh, uh, conviction, I think, very essential in regards to joyful effort. So whatever the goal, whatever the aim, whatever the what we say, the method that we want to apply, that we want to proceed into, has to come through conviction, and through that strong conviction then comes a very clear what we say emotional, what we say, one emotional want or need from yourself. So therefore enthusiasm, one thing. Then also another thing, obstacle that comes is obstacle in perseverance. So it becomes hard to to push yourself when you don't have the right, what we say, conviction, or the right motivation, right thought. So in regards to perseverance, uh, lot of time, a lot of people have problem in regards to developing perseverance when it comes to practice. We try it 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. If you're motivated a little bit, then maybe 1 month, 2 month. But then slowly it tends to disappear because our our worldly things come into perspective, then that gets mixed up with the practice, then you start questioning the practice. Questioning the practice is good, but not questioning the practice in the wrong way. Start to question practice in the wrong way, then sort of the perseverance starts to disappear. So strong conviction is important in order to uh, develop that strong perseverance. So again, within the definition of what we say of the joyful effort, perseverance is also in there. Then the whole enthusiasm and perseverance has to be towards what we say cultivating wholesome qualities. Yeah. Um, the effort that you're going to put is going to be not in just in anything, because there we like to do all of the what we say conventional good things, conventional things that make our senses happy. Yeah, the conventional things for our eye, good things to see, good things to hear, good thing to eat, then of course tactile touch, these things. So this conventional side of that. So not perseverance and enthusiasm towards that, but enthusiasm and perseverance towards something wholesome quality, especially in regards to achieving bodhicitta and achieving the view of emptiness and achieving enlightenment, and that too with a very strong motivation to help others, right? So that I think has to be there in the category. And the second one, I think, the cultivating wholesome qualities and what we say practicing dharma. So these are the goals, right? So like I said, depending on the goal, the perseverance changes, the enthusiasm changes, yeah, the practice changes, the quality of the practice changes, and with the change of all of that, then the mindset also changes. So joyful effort, the mindset is extremely important. The beginning motivation is extremely important. So while while cultivating, I think generosity, moral ethics, and patience we went through. And this, what we say, joyful effort works very strongly with all three of them. Actually, all of the other, what do we say, pāramitās, perfections, but with the ones that we have already been through as well. So with those, then we set a very clear motivation. Uh, the practice that we do, we tend to do it for the benefit of, first of all, I mean, the scope, based on the scope, the benefit, the lower scope, the first practice, the benefit for ourselves, in order to be more joyful, more happy in our lives, with our mind, with the environment that we are in, and so on and so forth. And then through that, then we widen our vision and view a little bit, and then we tend to include those that matter to us the most. And then, of course, the bigger scope would be all mother sentient beings throughout the samsaric realm. And the motivation always has to, I think, in practice, the motivation, especially in Dharma practice, the motivation always has to come from a clear understanding of renunciation, clear understanding of why we need to renounce samsara, clear understanding of why you need to or why I need to renounce samsara, and a clear understanding of what we achieve, what we can get by renouncing samsara. Right. So this is the concept behind it. Now, again, to be very clear, renouncing samsara is not giving up your job and your money and your house and your car and going into the mountains. And that can be renouncing for some people, especially for yogis, yogic practices. But generally, renunciation doesn't mean that. Renunciation is a clear understanding of dukkha, of suffering, and wanting to renounce the causes and conditions that suffering comes with. right? One thing is utilization utilization of hatred. These are means and methods so that you can overcome a lot of different things. You know, in Buddhism generally, because in the state of Buddhahood and in state of Bodhisattvahood, the necessary or the need for all of this, what do we say, anger and hatred and jealousy and so on and so forth, is not needed there. You know, this is the mind itself is beyond all of those in that state. But then in our own reality, it's a little bit different because in certain aspects, you know, even though the anger in general, if you are starting to act upon it, then it can be very, very destructive. But if you learn to utilize it, then anger can be utilized in beneficial ways as well, as we all know. So once you get rid of the anger from the root, then you start to learn to utilize it again, but with a different goal, with a different perspective. Yeah. So I think these are different means and methods to in order to practice. Again, application of joyful effort in all of this comes through clear, if not clear, a strong conviction, a strong understanding, and a strong sense, moral sense of how things function, how things work, how the mind works, how practice works, what what benefits you can get through the practice, right? So, and then with that, then cultivating what do we say, the strong need to practice dharma and the strong need to practice in wholesome qualities, and then say, okay, now that I see the reason that I need to practice in dharma and practice in cultivating wholesome what's actions, qualities, then you have a strong wish, and then comes the enthusiasticness, and then of course the perseverance in your practice. So just to go through the definition, so something like that. um, Generally, uh, on the lower aspect of practice, or the beginner's aspect of practice, we have a lot of things to deal with in our daily life. One of them is laziness. A lot of people, especially myself as well, very, very lazy, very, very mind is dull all the time, not wanting to, not wanting to push yourself when it comes to the necessary of pushing. And then, of course, procrastination. Yeah, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. We have a very strong, what is it, strong view on the view of permanence, right? So, yeah, nothing will happen to me tomorrow, nothing will happen to me day after tomorrow. So I make my plans 1 month ahead, 2 month ahead, 3 month ahead. So a strong, what do we say, strong lack of the idea of impermanence, a strong lack of the idea of change, strong lack of the idea of karma, then strong view of permanence. So again, procrastination comes very, very clearly through the view of procrastination, because if you realize, oh, I have some problem, I may not be able to do it tomorrow, then the what we say, the joyful effort towards doing it today becomes stronger also, right? So that is sort of the intent. So on a beginner's perspective, or the beginner's practice, and then two things that we generally need to deal with laziness and procrastination. This is one of the things that joyful effort can really, what we say, power over. And then also a lot of the practices that we do, especially root practices. This is on the middle level, I think. On the middle level, when it comes to practice, a lot of us, we practice uh, not because we need to. I think it starts with, yeah, I need to practice, but then ends up with being a chore, like being a daily, what do we say, a daily routine sort of thing. It's good, I think. It's good for people who are dealing with the laziness and procrastination, that you have a set, you have a set thing. Oh, tomorrow morning I have to wake up 5 a.m. and do my prostrations and do my water balls and do my meditation. It's good if you are dealing with laziness and procrastination, but a real joyful engagement in transforming your mind into onto the path actually comes on application when it's necessary, right? So this is again a different aspect of practice. Of course, we start with the daily routine, but then and then we develop through the daily routine. But then once you come into practice and you come to learn into practice, you see the application of joyful application of the practice each and every moment of your life. So again, an amazing example will be our guru Kyabje Lama Thupten Sopa Rinpoche. Such an amazing what we say practitioner. He's good. I served under Rinpoche from time to time, and whenever I'm serving, no matter whether it's morning, daytime, nighttime, in the middle of the night, earlier in the morning, 24 hours a day, you can see Rinpoche joyfully putting effort and developing compassion and always thinking about others. So you see the presence of the person who has that quality itself is already so amazing and mesmerizing. Yeah, the energy is also amazing. So uh, definitely through that means transforming practice into joyful engagement throughout our day becomes also so basically through the what do we say through the intermediate, then we learn. I think the intermediate state is learning to apply joyful effort, not just on a morning and evening sort of timetable, or in the morning I need to practice, but the other whole day I go to work, I shout, I scream, I fight, not like that, but learning to apply it throughout your day. So that itself, I think, is a practice of joyful effort, intermediate state. Then long-term spiritual development. That one, I think, in the more advanced level of practice. That one we can go deeper into it later on. But then, just to give you an overview of the practice itself. So that one development of especially in regards to the three principal aspects of the path. If you're what is it, proceeding into the bodhisattva's level of practice, then especially in regards to the three principal aspects of the path, if you're going to go into the tantric practice, then also the three principal aspects of the path. Now, how much you want to realize and how much what we say conviction you want to have, then that one defines which path you should take. Conviction, still strong conviction, still in development. You have conviction, but still doubts, still questions, still whether you should do or not. And then again, laziness and procrastination is coming still. Then you're still developing in regards to the practice. So there it takes we put it into the what we say to the bodhisattva's path. But then once you have very strong conviction there and you say, okay, the only thing I need to deal with is the core self-grasping attitude, and also my self-grasping attitude in some sense is pretty much gone, because on a daily basis I can really give my time, invest whatever I need to invest in helping others and developing others. If you have that kind of state, if you are in that kind of state, then yes, then the tantric path, through the clear conviction of the three principal aspects of the path, you go into the tantric path. So that would be the more what we say higher scope, higher level of practice when it comes to what we say when it comes to practicing joyful effort. So in regards to that, then what do we say? When it comes to that, in regards to practicing dealing with the laziness, uh, there are, of course, um, different aspects of laziness to overcome. Procrastination being one of them, self-depreciation being one of them, of course. This one I think we can say from our own experience. And then, of course, attachment towards unwholesome actions. That one is very, 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 very clear. And also, that is one thing that we need to start dealing with as soon as possible, because engagement in unwholesome action, or engagement in what we say negative action, that itself is a practice again. Not practice for the better, but practice for the worst, because every time we what do we say we um, proceed into unwholesome action, then last time we were talking about the mind and the body is not much difference. Very, very strong connection between the mind and the body, and the difference is not much. I always use the example of your ability to write with your left hand. If you are a person who writes with your right hand, then writing with your left hand is near to impossible at the beginning. But once you think and you understand, oh, I've been practicing with my right hand, writing with my right hand for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. That's why you're able to write with your right hand very smoothly, effortlessly, right? A joyful effort. But if you're willing to give the exact same amount of years of practice onto your left hand, then I can pretty much guarantee you that you'll be able to write as well as you write with your right hand. So, same thing with the mind as well. The mind engages in practice, and the more it engages in certain types of practice, the more better it becomes at doing that. So, anger is the same thing. Today we try anger one day, then tomorrow we try anger twice. Maybe at the beginning we have to put effort, right? We need to push the anger out from time to time, again and again. So the pushingness is always there. But then as you proceed, 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, 2 month, then the anger tends to become more and more natural to appear, to come out. And then at some point, when you become really good practitioner in anger, then you don't need to see the person, you don't need to hear the person. You could be in your meditation room and still be angry at the person, far, far away. Yeah, at the beginning, you need to see the person, you need to hear the person's voice, you need to, and then the mind goes there, and then the anger starts to appear. But as you go practicing, then you can be sitting in meditating on compassion, but then the anger arises like this inside, as out of practice. So um, basically, what we say, attachment and what we say, practicing or engaging in unwholesome actions. This is one of the first things, and unwholesome actions and activities. This is one of the first things that you need to work on when it comes to joyful effort, because joyful effort is good, but joyful effort towards unwholesome action is bad. It can be destructive. So that's something to think about. Yeah. So these are the main kinds of uh, for what we say main kinds of things that we need to look through at the beginner stage. And then of course there are many what we say achievements through that. Yeah. And also qualities that you can develop through joyful action. One of them is, I think, aspiration. Now, the in regards to aspiration, like I said, based on the level of practice, the aspiration level is also different. But the aspiration, first is aspiration, then is stronger aspiration, then at the end is very, very, very strong aspiration. So again, a very, very good example would be Kyabje Lama Thupten Zopa Rinpoche's aspiration, amazing aspiration. I spent maybe 10 days with Rinpoche in Amravati uh, during Kala Chakra, when His Holiness was giving Kala Chakra. And Rinpoche aspiration is very amazing because it fuels Rinpoche throughout the day and throughout the night. So um, I was around 15 years old, young, thinking I'm very, very capable and very strong. I have no problem. I can withstand anything, sort of thing. Young age. so, So that was there. And then after 3 days of serving Rinpoche, 24, nearly 24 hours, I slept maybe 3 to 4 hours, 4 hours in 24 hours. And most of the sleeping was done inside the teaching because I didn't sleep the whole day inside the Kalachakra teaching. But still, after 3 days, I was completely flat. No more ability, no more strength. The strength is gone. Aspiration is gone. Everything is gone. And Rinpoche keeps on going 24 hours a day, whole day teaching, meeting people, meeting, here, there, going to people, people coming to visit Rinpoche, offering, teaching, blessing, so on. And then the whole night, Rinpoche doing his, what we say, his prayers, and then, during the day he meets the people, so he has the notes of the problems the people have. Then, oh, for this person we have to do this medicine Buddha puja, for this person we need to do Lama choba, this person we need to do Thara puja, for this person we need to do obstacle removing puja. Whole night is puja. And I'm sitting there in the puja going like this, falling asleep, and Rinpoche is there, full concentration, full meditation. And so you see that the aspiration level completely different. So actually, anyway, a higher scope of, I mean, the higher level of aspiration is untainted aspiration. Nothing can stop you. Yeah. So that kind of aspiration you can develop. Then, of course, the concentration level also very high because what we say, through joyful effort. Everything that makes us happy, our concentration level is very high. I think one good example is watching series. A lot of people like to watch series, right? Movie series. um, so then when you're watching 2 3 hours, or if you're watching a good movie for 2 3 hours, then the concentration level is there. People walking here, walking there, doing this, doing that, you don't notice anything. Sometimes the kids, if you have kids, then the kids are in their video game, playing their video game. You call them 10 times, still they cannot hear. So the concentration, joy, when it comes to joyful effort, when you're putting joyful effort, the concentration level completely changes. So making the effort joyful is important in order to develop concentration as well. So yeah, concentration, steadiness of the mind when it comes to focus. Then of course, through all of that, joy is a, I think, a very powerful thing that we can, because peace, happiness, peace, and joy. These are three things. Three, no matter how selfless we are trying to be, these are the three things we always seek, no matter on what level. Yeah. If you are in samsara, if you are in samsara, you are not a Buddha, you are not a, what we say, you are not a Bodhisattva of the higher, what we say, even Bodhisattva, there is some is there. But if you're on the higher, what we say, higher level of practice, then it's a little bit different. So anyway, coming to that, joy, happiness, and peace, these three things, of course, can be developed through joyful effort. Then another thing is, I think joyful effort brings balance also in our life. It's like, what do you say, it's like we have a very hard day. If you have a very, very, very hard day and you are working very hard the whole day, then you have some peace. Let's say you get some rest, you have music playing in the background, and then deep breath, there's some peace, then it balances out the day, right? Have you ever experienced that? I'm sure we all experienced that, right? When you have something, you know very, very, what was a hard day, a very chaotic day, then finally when you get to rest for a while, 1 hour rest, it's really good. It powers us up. So joyful effort does that as well. You have a chaotic, very the thing, and then you apply joyful effort, then it sort of like pieces our mind down as well. So anyway, through that, another thing is, it develops balance through rest, yeah, through mental rest, so that you don't strain because always when it takes effort, non-joyful effort, then it strains. And most of the things that we do, chores that we do because we need to do, No, most of them we put the effort, and it's not joyful effort. You go to work, you're like, I need to go to work because I need to, survive, and I need. So you go to work, and then you meet all of your colleagues, and half of them are very nice to you, but half of them are mean to you. So now you have to deal with the half of the mean colleagues, and then that also drains your energy. So basically, the whole day drains your energy, and then you come and you do something that you love doing. You put effort in something that relaxes you, that there's where there's peace and joy, so that sort of like balances out a lot of the things that we the experiences, the hardship experience that we have. So that's another thing again, can be concentrated on in regards to what you can gain out of practicing joyful effort. um I think when it comes to what do we say, developing joyful effort again, things that we need to deal with, procrastination, for example, uh, what do we say, the importance of contemplating impermanence, for example, uh, and then also practicing immediate action when it comes to when it comes to because awareness is one thing, right? We develop awareness, and through awareness we understand, oh yeah, you know I am in this state where I need to remind myself that there is benefit in something, because without benefit we don't go doing things without benefit. And this is one thing that is very clear. We are we are human beings, and we always aim for benefit. As long as there's benefit, there's of course, and the benefit can come in many many different forms. Benefit doesn't just have to come in like, okay, if I do this I get paid, if I do that I not just that. It can be also peace, it can be also joy, it can be also happiness. These are also benefits that we seek in our daily life. So awareness, and then through awareness, then a clear understanding that what do we say, um, that there's benefit, and then understanding once you understand that there's benefit, then through that the application of saying, okay, because there's a benefit, then I cannot really, I cannot procrastinate, I cannot stretch it along, because there's benefit. I need to work towards that benefit. And that benefit, if that benefit is of course mental wellness, um, practice and development, spiritual development or mental development, then of course that is extremely important. So there is one concentration that we put in regards to procrastination. And then, like I said, when it comes to practice of impermanence, death is a very big topic. Whether utilization of the topic of death, and that one is up to you, of course. If it makes you uncomfortable to think about that, then maybe it's not the right time. But it's absolutely something that, because death is one thing, in Lamrim itself, I say, death is certain. Uh, its time is uncertain, uh, but death is certain. So you already see that the impermanence when it comes to death, yeah, is very clear. And we all know that there's no one, uh, if you go searching in the whole universe, there's no one that doesn't die, right? So I think one good story when it comes, I heard this story when I was very young, in regards to Buddha. This mother, her child dies, and then she hears about Buddha, this person called Buddha, amazing power, so enlightened being, right? So she's like, I know this guy, this guy maybe will be able to, what do we say, help me uh, bring my child back. We understand a mother's, what do we say, mother's pain when it comes to. So she carries her child in her arm, and she goes looking for Buddha. So she finally meets the Buddha, and she cries in front of the Buddha and says, "Please bring my child back." And I think this is a little bit similar to Jesus Christ story. I think Jesus Christ is something similar like that, but the action is different. And Jesus Christ maybe put his hand out and touch the baby and bring the baby to alive, back to life. But Buddha, he didn't do that. He did the opposite. Anyway, so this mother goes to Buddha and says, "Please, enlightened being, you are an enlightened being. You have the power to do anything. You please bring my child back." So then Buddha agrees and says, "Okay, I'll bring your child back, but first you need to go and bring a handful of grain from a household. You go to all of the household and you ask for a handful of grain, but the grain has to come from a household where no one has ever died. Yeah, the handful of grain has to come from a household that no one has died. So then she says, okay. So she goes around the village, the town, all over the place, and she goes from house to house. I need a handful of grain. And then they say, yeah, of course, we can give you handful of grain. Then she says, but has anyone ever died in your household? And then they say, yeah, yeah, my mother died. Some say my brother died. Some say my sister died. Some say my wife died. Some say my husband died. She looked all over the place, couldn't find anything. So it's a very, very clear teaching in regards to impermanence, right? So anyway, this is a story that I really connected to when I was young. I think I heard it up in Kupan, um, probably from Lama Lindu, I think. What do you say? Previous abbot of Kupan. But anyway, this is a story that really touched me. Death is certain. We cannot deny it. And there is no matter how what do we say, invincible we think we are, death comes. Anyway, it gives a clear understanding on impermanence. And once you understand the impermanence is there, then procrastination tends to disappear, right? So that's also one method of practicing, a very higher level of practicing. Of course, Yogacara, what we say, Siddhanta Yogacara, I think they call it. I don't know, something like that. But in that kind of practice, then you even not just in regards to thinking about it, you actually go to cemeteries and meditate in cemeteries. Of course, if you go through the chair practice, that would be part of the chair practice as well. Uh, so anyway, coming back to the point, when we dealing with procrastination, of course, remembering that meditation is also one part of the practice that can help you in developing a clear view on why the dire situation, the need to practice becomes even more important. Then, of course, we always one thing that we do is I think we see that in the modern world a lot because we depend. The modern society has come to a point where we depend less on ourselves and more on others in regards to making decisions, right? So if you, I'm in a cultural, right? I'm from the Sherpa culture, and in the Sherpa culture, yeah, things have to be done in regards to the culture and in regards to tradition and that and this. And I think maybe a lot of people sometimes they think, this Charok Lama, he always goes around saying he's not traditional, he's not cultural, it's very bad. But in reality, culture and tradition is just an aspect of what is a conventional livelihood, right? In reality, culture and aspect is, of course, there are benefits to certain things, but then whether it long-term benefit or not, that one is still questionable. So, because of our dependency on others, especially in others' view and others' judgment and others that with social media also, it has become such a huge thing nowadays. Everything is, I need to post the most beautiful things, I need to post the best things, I need to look the best, I need to, if I'm in the center, I need to behave the best. In some ways it's good. It's what we say, rule sort of regulation sort of thing. You keep yourself checked, so that's also good. Too much freedom again can be a little bit too destructive, but then again, depending on that is also not good, right? So one bad thing that comes out of this then is a lack of self-confidence. always thinking that I'm not capable, always thinking that, needing, what do we say, needing people's, what do we say, um, what is the word? Like people's thumbs up.
Approval?
Approval?
Okay. Ah, there you go. Approval. Yeah, yeah. So always needing people's approval. Yeah, always needing all of, so this again can be very destructive because it brings the self-confidence down and it affects the joyful effort. So again, this is something to consider again in regards to working with joyful effort, because if you tell yourself that you are incapable and that you are not good enough, over and over and over and over again, then what happens? It becomes a practice. Consistency is practice. So if you push yourself down over and over again and again and again, then that itself becomes a practice. And now once you have practice in that, then you are going to one of the two extremes. Yeah, we have cheta and we have takta. Yeah, what was it? Extremism and nihilism. So in some sense, sort of like nihilism. Yeah, you're completely non-dependent, you fully dependent on others' approval, non-dependent on self healing and self-approval. Sometimes it's not a good thing. So again, one important aspect of working with that is that. Then how to work with that? Of course, I think there's three different methods. One is remembering Buddha nature, yeah, within ourselves, within the nature of all things, the Buddha nature. That I mean, we can go deep into it, combining it with the concept or the view of emptiness. But then again, in general sense, also Buddha nature, the nature of purity, of clarity, of understanding, of what is of true nature in some sense, right? This is, I think, one thing that you can work in regards to dealing with that. Then another thing is reflecting on the concept of precious human rebirth. If you have studied Lamrim, of course, one of the first topics in Lamrim, precious human rebirth, is also one of the beginning topics. That's also another method of working with that. Then, of course, love, consideration. Yeah, it's not just towards others, but towards yourself as well. Of course, others practicing patience, practicing patience towards others can help that also, because one thing is lack of patience, lack of what we say, needing that approval immediately right now. That is also something that tends to get in the mind and twists, sort of like tweaks the mind into not giving yourself the credit that you deserve. So true nature is where credit is deserved, credit is given. This is true nature in some sense, right? When you work and you have results, then you should be happy about the results. And if someone says you shouldn't be happy about the results, then I mean, of course, a good result, bad result, different thing. But especially in regards to good results, then if there's good results, then you should be happy. You should give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah, you should give yourself, if you like ice cream, maybe give yourself one ice cream. Pamper yourself a little bit. It's necessary in practice. Yeah. So yeah, two ice creams also. So this is, I think, a clear sense of how balance works. Yeah, balance works. uh, my teacher, one of the greatest teachings that my teacher reminds me every day is that you can never create a clap with one hand. You move one hand like this, you will never hear the clap. You need two hands to make clap. Always, my teacher always says that. And this is, I think, in sense with balance as well, right? You need two things to working together to really make. So others is necessary. Completely ignoring others because you don't want to rely on what we say on what was the word again? Uh,
Approval.
Approval,
Approval?
yeah. Always depending on, so not wanting to always depend on approval, but then also taking credit that approval is also another thing that can actually, there's also benefit towards it, right? So not fully dependent. So balance, again, another thing that helps in regards to working with lack of confidence. Then, when it comes to dealing with unwholesome action and unwholesome activities, then also different methods to dealing with that. Uh, Understanding that uh, what we say, mm, when we one thing meaningless, what we say, unwholesome actions normally are meaningless. You know, one thing you can see very clearly with sometimes anger, in some sense anger can be, like I said, justified in some sense also, but in most cases anger just appears and it ruins our day, it ruins our mood, it ruins everything, and then if it gets worse, then we involve in the action after the emotion appears, right? So anger appears, then feel miserable, you don't feel happy, you dislike, you scream, you shout, you maybe break a few things. Then at the end of all of that, then you think, what did I gain out of all of that, right? Nothing to gain out of all of that. Full of destruction, full of emotional imbalance, full of chaos within the mind, within the emotion, within our body as well. Our body turns red, my hands start to shake, and all of these happen. Then bad speech come out of the mouth, and then horrible words coming out. Then if you involved in light actions, then you break glasses, you punch with the wall, you do all of these things. Then if you cannot control your actions, then it gets worse. Then you punch a person. Yeah, then really bad state of action. Then people use guns, people use knives. Yeah, then that one, full of chaos. Then after that, your mind settled. After the anger, after everything happens, you go into your room, you shut the door, you bang the door, you sit there and you think, and slowly your mind calms down. But then once your mind is calmed down, you really normally our mind doesn't process these things. And once it's calm, then it just relaxes in the calmness. But if you start processing and you think, what did I get out of all of that? You start to see that there's meaningless. There's nothing to gain from it, right? So meaningless, what we say, meaningless actions, meaningless. It's like someone acting in a movie. Of course, the emotion is involved there, but in reality, it's something like that. So meaningless action, right? There's one method of really working with unwholesome actions. All unwholesome actions normally don't have any meaning behind it, don't have any benefit behind it. So cultivating, or not cultivating, or contemplating this process is also one method of dealing with that. Then of course, if you are a karmic enthusiastic person, if you really understand cause and conditions, if you really understand what do you say, consistency, continuity, and consistency, if you understand impermanence in that sense, then also something that you can meditate on in regards to meaningless action is that, because uh, we are always taught, you do something good, then karma in sense is like that, right? When you create the right good conditions, then good thing happen. If you create bad conditions, bad things happen, right? If I go around bad mouthing everyone, then most likely everyone else would bad mouth me as well. But then if I go out, praising everyone, and also, what do we say, not needing to praise, but just being kind and being, open, and being, what is it, embracing to everyone, then likeliness, if not everyone, likeliness that most people would do that back as well. A karmic condition, right? You create the right conditions in order to have. So that's also another thing to contemplate when it comes to unwholesome actions. Uh, then, of course, unwholesome action. One what do we say, higher level of practice when it comes to unwholesome actions is really, really, really understanding, what do we say, renunciation, right? Last, I think we did go through renunciation the last time. Duje kowa chen pongbo. then Duje is consistent change, and Korwa Samsara. And now these three things coming together builds a very clear structure of what samsara is, right? What Korwa is. So renunciation is nothing but renouncing samsara. Like I said, when you talk renunciation, I think I've heard a lot of examples of lamas coming and teaching renunciation, then the student, giving up their money, selling their house and offering the money to the lama, selling everything, car, everything, offering to lama, shave their head, and then wear monk dress, and then they think they become yogi now. They go to the mountains, they practice. Then afterwards, they have financial problem, they have this problem, that problem, all more, even more problem than they had initially. So renunciation, not about giving up. Renunciation is knowing when to embrace. Yeah, renunciation is knowing that samsara itself is the condition that we are in, knowing that there is a liberation, knowing that we have the freedom, the freedom to choose to be liberated from that condition that we have created, and knowing that we have the ability, knowing that our mind has the ability, knowing that the method is taught by the Buddha, and knowing that the application of the method only comes from our own agreement. Without our own agreement, yeah, if a lama comes and says, "Oh, yeah, you do this, you do that, you do," you know, first of all, no matter what the lama says, do. First, you need your own approval, right? The freedom of choice is always there. So you need your own approval. So knowing that the freedom is there, knowing to embrace death when death comes, knowing that embracing death is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Yeah, you're looking forward to a new beginning. So these are more important things when it comes to understanding renunciation. Renunciation is not giving up your money and your house and that and this and going and becoming a yogi or a zogi. So I think more clear understanding of renunciation only comes through clear understanding of samsara, and clear understanding of samsara comes out clear understanding of Buddha. So yeah, where were we? Uh, what was I talking about? Yeah, renunciation. So yeah, so the concept of renunciation being again what do we say, a method to understanding or to dealing with unwholesome actions. Yeah. Then a wise attention. Yeah, like I said, we are people who work with values, who work with benefits. Yeah, if there's benefit, if there's profit, if there's something like that, then we are more enthusiastic in working with something. So so once you have studied the dharma, you understand clearly what the benefit of the dharma is, what the benefit of the practice of dharma is, especially when you understand the practice of bodhicitta. Why practice bodhicitta? What do I gain out of practicing bodhicitta? What can I achieve out of practicing bodhicitta? And by practicing bodhicitta, what do I get? These are important questions. You need to let go of the I, but to start with, we need to understand what do I get? Because if you don't understand what I get, then you can't convince yourself to take the step forward, right? So first is always convincing yourself. Buddha was very skilled teacher because he taught based on people's mindset. So at the beginning, when people, when in those days in India, it's all kingdoms. Yeah, it's not like now one India. So anyway, he went from kingdom to kingdom, and all the people in different kingdom, they had different mindsets, they have different practices. So every time he went teaching, he taught completely different things. Same question, but different means of application. Right? So when it comes to emptiness, one place he goes, he says, "Oh, everything is merely labeled by the mind." Another thing he goes, "Oh no, everything appears from its own side." Then another place, "Oh, it's not a one or two; it's the combination of these two that makes the thing, empty from its own side." So the teaching, changes throughout. So his mindset also. So we need to be skilled we are our own best teachers in so many different ways. So we need to be skilled enough to know what the mind requires, what are the methods that the mind requires. Yeah, convincing, working with the mind, tweaking the mind. So on that level, right? Hmm. Time is it 7:03? Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, coming back to the working with the what do we say? What do we say? Practice of the um, dealing with the uh, unwholesome actions. Yeah, this is also one method of understanding it. Ah, then mm, then what? Anything else? Anything else I missed? I think I missed something. I'm just trying to think. What did I miss?
I'm wondering if I missed something. I have renouncing samsara and then wise attention, and then
Yes.
what did I miss after that? For the three
Yeah.
types of renunciation.
Three types of renunciation.
Yeah, you said there were three types of renunciation, the renouncing the samsara and wise attention, and I may have been squirreled and not not listening. Sorry.
Renounce. Um, no, no. Wise attention is dealing with unwholesome actions. Yeah. When we're dealing with unwholesome actions, then we talked about our mind being trapped in what a meaningless action. So the contemplation of benefits of the meaningless actions, yeah, outcomes of the meaningless actions and the benefits. So I think the example that I gave was in regards to anger, right? Do all of these things, and after that, when your mind is relaxing down and your mind is relaxed, you think back and you're like, what was I doing? Right. There's nothing, I don't get anything out of it. So that was one thing, and the second thing was, of course, contemplating karma, cause and condition, yeah, consistency, continuity. This is again, I think, all synonyms when it comes to karma. So contemplating in the karma conditions and the results of the karma. Then I think then comes practicing renunciation. In renunciation, then we talked about what renunciation, sort of like outline of what renunciation is. Yeah, we have Duje Kowa Pungpo, Duje impermanence, Korwa Samsara, and then Pungpo the body. So you understand these three things, you come together, you combine this understanding of these three things, and then comes the understanding of what renunciation is through that method. And then, of course, the fourth one, I think, wise attention, knowing the benefits of practice. So I think, yeah, I think that's about it. Mm.
Rinpoche,
Yes.
hi. Did you began speaking about the different levels, the beginners, the intermediate? I don't recall if you touched upon the higher level of
Oh, yeah, yeah.
practice.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's 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 what I
yeah,
forgot.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I have to go through something. So anyway, yeah. So I think this more of this in regards to a practice of the what we say beginner and intermediate, then higher level of practice in regards to what we say joyful effort comes in the sense of the quality of practice when it comes to the sense of the effort that you put in. Because once you have a strong backing of renunciation, starting with renunciation, then starting of bodhicitta, then the view of emptiness. These three things, the three principal aspects of the path, once you have a very clear, um sort of like not complete conviction, but like I said, a conviction. That just put it a conviction. So once you have conviction in these three things, understanding the nature of samsara, And understanding that the nature of samsara is very closely connected with the idea of dependent origination. And that the concept of dependent origination very strongly in reliance with the understanding of what we say impermanence. So cause and condition, karma, what is it, continuity, and then cause and condition, action and reaction. So this being the result in regards to from that understanding the whole concept of what we say um, dependent origination. Dependent origination comes from that concept. Yeah, application of dependent origination comes from that concept. Understanding of dependent origination comes from that concept. Through dependent origination then comes the concept dependent origination then comes the concept of the view of emptiness. Yeah, dependent origination is the one of the main sources of reasoning behind the view of emptiness. Yeah, what was that mm, uh, I forgot the word again. Uh, but anyway, so main reason for the main logical reason to in order to prove the view of emptiness, we use dependent origination. Okay, so that is the method, and through that then comes the view of emptiness. The view of emptiness, main cause of the view of emptiness, or the main reason for the view of application of the view of emptiness, is the self-grasping attitude, strong self-grasping attitude. 党字, yeah, so the self-cherishing view, the strong self-cherishing view cannot be released until you understand the true nature of reality. Without understanding the true nature of reality, our strongest conventional, what we say, creation is the self, the I. Yeah. I mean, Kyabje Lama always saying merely labeled I, merely labeled I. Yeah, merely labeled this, merely labeled that. So, again, this is like I said, the application of emptiness, the view of emptiness comes in many different forms. Yeah, Tongi due to the 16 different, what do we say, integrations of the view of emptiness is there. And then I think there's 20, 21 or 20, something like that, the integrations of the view of emptiness. Then the view of emptiness also goes as far as challenging the view of emptiness itself. So emptiness of emptiness is challenging the view of emptiness itself. So it goes to that method also. So these, I think, in order to go into deep practice of joyful effort, once you understand this, then you become like what is the immovable force sort of thing. Yeah, practice itself becomes an immovable force, because then you have once you are detached by conventional views. I don't know. I'm just thinking, right? Once you're completely detached by conventional views and you only see the ultimate thing, then nothing. I think nothing that we think matters at the moment actually matters in reality. It's like the experience when you have when you are near death. Yeah, before we are dying, then we need house, we need car, we need good food, we need good that, good this, good bag, good clothes. Yeah, and then we also need a lot of money. Yeah, try to make as much money as possible. Then we need these, all of these things. But then suddenly you're on your deathbed, none of those matter anymore. Now those are all, now you see the true reality of conventionality when it comes to there, when it comes to that state, right? It's just one example. More examples, I think our conventional reality when we were kids in school is completely different from what we have right now. Yeah, the conventional reality that the reality that we have has already changed so much. Yeah, then teenager, when you're a teenager, if you're a girl, then you're there to impress the boy. Then if you're a boy, you're there to impress the girl. Then then if you are into study, then you are there to impress your teacher. Then if you are, if you have a very strict family, then you are there to impress your mother and father. So that kind of reality there. But now, no, that is completely disappeared. How important is that right now? It's completely gone. So again, understanding conventional reality and then understanding ultimate reality and letting go of conventional reality go of the conventional reality because you have very, very strong conviction for it as well. Like I said, most of the joyful effort that we have been talking until now has to do with independence with others, independence with society, independence with who you are, what you are doing, so on and so forth. But once you understand the impermanence or the what is the convention, once you realize the conventionality of it, and you're able to let go of it, then think about it. The effort, the joyful effort, the whole aspect of it changes already. Yeah, so this is, I think, a little bit more, what do we say, more high level practice. But the high level practice comes through the integration of these three things. Of course, maybe later on we'll go deeper. I think the next course, I think it's the next course, we're going to go deeper into these three things, I think. I forgot what the next course was, next month course. But anyway, I think we will go through more deeper into that. But just to give you an overview of how practice changes in that sense. So the application of the three principal aspect of the path become extremely important in regards to high level practice. And like I said, knowing samsara, yeah, knowing that every single essence within the existence of samsara and within the existence of our own existence of reality in samsara is very, very, very conventional. That's one thing. A second thing is applying that exact same view of conventionality, but then also in regards to feeling. So that's where compassion becomes important. Yeah. Yes, it is conventional. Yeah, you are conventional. I'm conventional. The way you live conventional. Your suffering is conventional. But when someone else is in the conventional level and is suffering, because they don't understand the conventional level, then their reality is ultimate. The suffering itself becomes ultimate to them as well, right? So you have, of course, if you are a great practitioner and you understand conventionality and ultimate view in some sense, then you look at maybe you see a bug on the side of the road, maybe something attacked it, then it, three, four legs all broken, picked out, maybe a bird attacked it, then maybe half of the body is cut, in pieces. You look from one side, then if you look from convention, that's why the what do we say, the middle way is very important. You don't go to the two extremes, right? If you go too extreme into the ultimate view, then what happens is then you lose your feelings, you lose your sense, you lose everything. But then it's necessary for the senses and the feelings in order to want to liberate. You need to feel, right? Without the feeling, then how are you going to get the ultimate sense of liberation? No. So again, balancing these two things together. So now you look at the animal and you say, yeah, it's conventionally it's suffering in a conventional world, it's conventionally suffering, and it's karmically in the sense that it's. But then to that bug, when it's suffering, when it's in the conventional state of suffering, for me, maybe you can see like for the person who looking, maybe you can see like this after you realize. But then again, application of the conventional reality itself being ultimate, yeah, then you being able to see from the, what do you say, from its own shoe, is it from your shoe, yeah, from the perspective of, yeah, is that the word they say, something like from within the shoe or something. So yeah, so being able to see in the mirror sort of sense, yeah, you mirroring, you being able to see things from his perspective or its perspective, then changes things. Then the suffering becomes very, very, very real. It is conventional, but it is ultimate in its own state. So therefore, it becomes very real, and therefore again, the need and the urge to liberate, or the need liberation comes in two forms. One form of liberation is liberation from samsara, as in getting them out of samsara. Liberation in the second sense is liberation through what we say, through sharing knowledge and wisdom. This is why Buddha means of liberation through the teachings of the Buddha is already the means to liberation, right? So when someone understands, oh yeah, this is not the right thing, then when someone doesn't understand this is not the right thing, then your means of liberation is extending your wisdom so that they understand then it's not the right thing. And through that, once they understand then it's not the right thing, then the progress of liberation already starts to happen. So that's the first form of liberation. um make sense? We're good. Any questions in regard to that? Oh, very clear as a visa. Okay, good. So um so yeah, through that I think the more what time through that the more advanced what we say joyful effort starts to arise, because we see things completely differently. Yeah, you don't see things as we normally see. This is my house, this is my room, this is my computer, we are doing dharma, there is that, you are here, she's there. We don't understand in that kind of reality. Yeah, the reality itself changes. Yeah, conventionality becomes a sense of what we say, what pushes you into the practice. Yeah, so then because conventionality is becomes the main root, the main aim is ultimate reality, then conventional reality is right in front of you and it's inspiring you. So that kind of joyful that kind of inspiration, then strong conviction towards that, then comes joyful effort towards a higher practice. Make sense? Then of course on the tantric path is completely different, because on the tantric path, then the concentration is again, you know, I think throughout the journey of your practice on the path, it's always in out, in out, in out, in out, in out. It's like this. I think normally when people teach, they say, oh, once you're in the Bodhisattva path, then you let go of yourself completely and you are completely, focused on helping others. But in reality, I don't think it's like that. It's, there's always a balance. Yeah, the middle way sort of thing between practice of inner practice, outer practice, inner practice, outer practice. Because at the end of the day, development of compassion also happens within you, right? It doesn't happen within others. You sitting there meditating on compassion, trying to develop compassion, doesn't mean if I'm sitting here trying to develop compassion, it doesn't mean your compassion will go up, right? So it doesn't happen that way. And this is also uh, what one of the things that Buddha said. Uh, if he could practice for us, then he would. Yeah, Buddha could, Buddha would. But the reality is no. Everyone has their own journey in regards to practice, and we have to strive and we have to put the effort ourselves. So, same thing there. Um, in the tantric path, then the focus from the external part where you are focusing on others, mother sentient beings, then shifts back into, okay, it's more like experience and then practice, then experience, then practice, then experience, then practice. Even the five paths, cholam, jelam, tolam, gomlam, milalam. Yeah, cholam is what, path of accumulation. Cholam, jelam, path of attaining or something like that, and then Thonglam, path of seeing. Even within that, there's Nyamsha, Jetop, Nyamsha, Jetop. Nyamsha is meditative state and Jetop is like, awakened state sort of thing. So even within that, there's internal practice, then external practice, internal practice, external practice. So practice is like that, it goes like this. Every state of your journey on the path is going to be that. Yeah? Internalizing, application, internalizing, realizing, internalizing, so that thing. So that is always there. So slowly progress of learning. Of course, based on the conviction, the path, sort of shortens or becomes longer. This is like we say, a bodhisattva uh, doing one good merit creates, amazing merit compared to a Arya being. Yeah, so I think the comparison is like 500 years or something like that. 1 second of the bodhisattva is compared to 500 years, 100 years or 500 years of the Arya being's practice, something like that. But this has to do with the mindset. This has to do with the concept of the application of the practice. So the difference there. So same thing in the tantric practice. Again, nyamsha jeto, meaning what do we say? Meditative state, then external state, internal external state, like this. So in that state, also same thing, dealing with the grasping attitude, the root cause of grasping attitude within ourselves. Within now, once you have negated general grasping attitude because you realize the conventional reality and you realize ultimate reality, now you're, but then inside there's still channels that within the flow, intimate state of flow, and when it comes to energy, when it comes to channels, when it comes to that, then there's also still a little bit of grasping in regards to that, still a little bit of pride when it comes to that. So you look within samsara itself also, look at the state of the gods. Yeah, we say the state of gods and demigods. Demigods are they're always fighting with the gods, they're always dissatisfied, quite clear. But the gods itself, they have completely, probably no more suffering anymore, right? I mean, until they're, until they use up all their what is their positive karma of the godly state, then they go back into samsara. But anyway, within the god state as well, you have any one of you read the Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata? No. So anyway, it's full of, now you see even in the god realm, there's full of attachment and full of that and full of this. This is always going on and on and on and on. So anyway, coming back to the point, what I'm saying is, in the ultimate state of practice, within the, I think also in Dzogchen practice, there's something that you focus on is building building the level of concentration within yourself, because there's small, tiny bits of grasping attitude still spread it all over the place. So this is going to be the effort you put towards this one coming through the conviction, and the conviction coming through the logical application of what of the practice. So stronger conviction to impermanence, better effortless joy in regards to liberation, right? A stronger conviction towards knowing other suffering, yeah, relatable integration of suffering, then stronger more effortless joy in practicing compassion. Yeah, so then stronger thing in understanding conventional reality and ultimate reality, then more practice towards negating samsara, wanting to achieve enlightenment, then strong conviction towards the three principal aspects of the path, then your path is like this, like an escalator. You don't have to walk anymore. Yeah, this is a good example. Effort is like walking up the stairs. You need to get up the stairs, so you walk up. Effortless joy is like you put what escalators or lift. You don't have to walk anymore. Like that. So that is effortless joy when it comes to practice. Okay, I was thinking to touch meditation, but meditation is a little bit now. How many we went through? Jimbat Sultan Soba Sundu. So now we have something and shut up. Meditation and concentration. Is it? Yeah. So maybe that one we go in the next session. You okay? Too much information today? We are good today? Yeah. So any question? Today we have a little bit more time, so we can do some question answer.
Go ahead and unmute, me, Minificia.
Thank you. Lama, I've learned that you have to practice or you have to realize the perfections linearly. So you have to perfect generosity, then perfect morality. And my question is, I'm practicing, or we're practicing all of them simultaneously. Most likely we do. So why is it that I guess I can't conceptualize why I have to perfect them linearly, and I can't just perfect morality and then generosity, or meditate diligence and then morality. Why is it that they have to go in order in terms of perfecting them?
Mm. So generally is a state of practice, right? Generosity is a feeling. Not is a feeling, arises from a feeling. Then the feeling is converted into uh, into mindset, right? Then the mindset. So ethics and morality is a mindset, right? It's a concept that you can apply in order to. So let's say, for example, I want to drink coffee. So first is always the mindset, right? I want to drink coffee, the need. I want to drink coffee. Then after wanting to drink coffee, then comes the sort of like the moral of it, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Should I drink coffee or not? Right? The second question is, should I drink coffee or not? Unless I say I want to drink coffee, then you can't say should I drink or not, right? First the small kid says, I want to eat candy. Then comes, can you eat candy or not? Yeah, because you already had candy before, because you didn't have candy before, things like that. So then comes morality. Then comes what is it? Jimotsunin soba, patience. Because once you apply, once the morality is there, then it takes time to sink into the morality, because we are not used to applying morality. So it takes time to sink. So there are a lot of patience needed. Of course, this is just a general concept of how it can be done, how the concept sort of like arises. Then through giving yourself time to apply, then comes then once you, because like I said, conviction. Through conviction comes the progress of practice, right? So similarly, once you have given your self the time, then comes the effort. Yeah, once without the time, then the effort a little bit hard to come, right? If I told you, oh, do right now because you need to do it right now, it doesn't come. But once you have synced it in, and once you have what is it, initialized, then comes the effort. Okay, yes, I should, so same thing with the coffee. Yeah, once you have decided the moral of the coffee, if I can drink or not, then I say, okay, finally I decide, okay, I can drink. So once you decide you can drink, then you say, okay, what do we say, uh, the making of the coffee, the joyful effort. Oh, now I can enjoy the coffee, sort of thing, like joyful effort in the progress. Then once you make the coffee, then you don't just gobble up the coffee, right? Then you process the coffee slowly. Oh, maybe I can eat it with biscuit. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do this. So then comes the state of what is it? Something, yeah, something contemplative meditation, sort of single pointed concentration sort of thing. Then comes, of course, then comes the benefits of it, right? Something share up wisdom. Then once you drink the coffee, then you feel awake, then you can really apply, the necessary. The whole aim is to work, to be able to work. I need to get up, I need to wake myself up. So just an example, but something like that, I think. Yeah. But linear, this is the linear part. The linear part is explained. Linear means one after another,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, Lama.
Linear. Yes, yes. So the linear part is explained in that sense, because the application is the process wise. In reality, all 10 parameter are integrated. I think I told this on the first day. We had the first day of the course. I told that it's integrated. Once you develop one, the others tend to come with it. Of course, the application of the methods is also different. That one differs a lot in regards to in regards to what practice. Here we most concentration here in regards to practice is the three principal aspects of the path. So sort of general sort of thing. But in true reality, if you are practicing the view of emptiness, then it's not. It's what we say. The first application of the 10 paramita is not what we say generosity. It's actually wisdom. The first application is wisdom. Then through wisdom, then meditative state. So it goes the exact, not the exact opposite, but something like the opposite method. So as long as you understand the six paramitas, you understand their definition, you understand their ways and the means and what they are concentrated on, the application can be applied on any kind of practice. It doesn't have to be one practice. The method of application also can be different, you know. And then I think another reason why it's explained in this exact linear way is in regards to how what do we say how hard to apply it is. Generosity is normally quite easy to apply, right? Generosity, like I said, generosity, first day we were talking about generosity is not just giving money and all of that. Generosity can be giving time. I said one of the first steps to practicing generosity is just learning to smile to others, right? So this is also a practice of generosity. So I think it's one of the easiest that can come to us because we are, and then as you go, last becomes wisdom, which application of wisdom. Then you need to recall a lot of experiences, a lot of knowledge, a lot of that, a lot of this. So it takes more effort. So it's also in regards, the linear is in regards to that also. So, but then, like I said, depending, once you have understood the six parameters, then depending on your practice, then comes necessary. What is necessary at the beginning and what is necessary at the end. So there's no rule that you need to go linearly. It's just that it has to be explained one by one. It can't be explained all at once. Right? So because it has to explain one by once, then the linear sort of system sort of arise. And the linear system, like I said, there's two reasons. One is because it goes from easy to difficult. Then the second one is because the application, the method of application, when it comes to in a general sense, the method of application is one after another. In the general sense, not in particular practices, but in general sense. So this is the linear way. But in reality, all 10 parameters you can apply in any form. So one thing I can tell you again, within the path, the application of the 10 parameters combined with the knowledge of the, what is it, not knowledge but the system, the application system, which is the Four Noble Truths. Yeah, the application system is always the Four Noble Truths, no matter what practice. So the four noble application of the Four Noble Truths in regards to practice in the what is the Arya path, in the Bodhisattva path, also in the tantric path, is always, what is the word for this, not lineal, but back and forth and back and forth and back, and what do you call that? Is there a word for that?
Alternating. Alternating.
Alternative. Yeah, good one. Yeah. So if you look in the path and grounds, the study of the path and grounds, you'll see that the alternative is always there. So it goes from generosity all the way to wisdom, then to meditative, then here, then there, like this. It's alternative. It's never linear. And also in regards to the Four Noble Truth also. The Four Noble Truth normally dunga shebacha, kunju pawacha, kopongundacha, lam gombarcha, right? Generally it's that state, dunga shebacha, suffering. Kunju dunga shebacha, kunju pawarcha, negate the cause. Yeah, kopongundacha, then cessation, what do we say, inhalation cessation, then lam gombarcha, then meditative state when it comes to the path, the practice of the path. But that's, like I said, on a general sense. In practice, real practice, especially if you look in the Bodhisattva path, in the path and ground, in the stages of practice, you will see that they're very alternating all over the place. Make sense?
Yep, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Good question. So we are up now, time. Yeah. Or you want one more
Never.
question?
The time doesn't exist. You just have to keep teaching and teaching.
Time doesn't exist. Conventional time exists. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I think good. I hope everyone enjoying. In regards to the practice of joyful effort, very very important in the sense that it builds it comes through strong conviction, and then it builds consistency, it builds joy, it builds happiness, it builds peace within that as well, because it's such a amazing balance between, because effort is it takes a little bit of that. Then joyful, when you add joyful, then it takes away that sort of thing. So the combination of the two sort of balances the joyful and the effort, sort of balances things out. And I think every practice, that's why I say, if there's no joy in practice, then there's no practice. So that's why in any practice you do, there's always need to be joy, because without the joy, the joyful effort never comes in. Without the joyful effort, then the practice tends to not go so well in most cases. Maybe some people, they push themselves uh, very hard, and their mind is strong enough to handle that hardness, then maybe a little bit of result. But in most scenarios, that doesn't happen. You push yourself, you push until you get to the edge of the road, and then you push yourself down the cliff. So we don't want that when it comes to practice. So therefore, joy in practice is extremely important, and the reason why joy in practice is extremely important is because it helps in developing joyful effort. Yeah, we good? We enjoying? Okay. Chanjo sem boje ma ye bonum ke je kya anya ba me ko ne gonda be wa jo to ni da wa rim boje ma ye banam ke je kya anya ba me ba ya ko ne gonda be wa jo tim ge chule ke me je chule na no za mi be chule ke chule. Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank
Sweet
you.
dreams.
Thank you.